Hey, Carrie, thank you so much for having me on today. This is awesome. I'm so excited.
Oh, you and me both. It's so my pleasure. I'm so excited. Now, for everyone out there, this is the amazing Karla. If you don't already follow her on Instagram, Facebook, and every other social media platform that you have, make sure that you do, because today we're talking about creating a content strategy. And obviously, we're not going to give you all the secrets, but we're going to give you some, aren't we, Karla?
Yeah, just a little bit, just to get you started, because it is quite overwhelming if I gave you everything here today.
We're having a taste tester today. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to go and follow Karla's pages, because she's really good at what she does. And even just hearing some of the pointers that she's going to give to us today is going to give you just a little bit of an insight. Go to her page, go and scroll down. I've got it open here beside me because I was actually having a bit of a nosy before we went live this morning, just so I could, get my fingers wet and get ready to go with some questions around what we're going to talk about. So jump in there and have a look. So today specifically, for those that did click on our link on Facebook or Instagram, you do know that we're actually talking about creating a content strategy, one that captivates, connects, and most of all, what everyone wants to hear, the magic word, converts. So and let me just say, it's like the old Weller commercial. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a bit, don't just expect
What was it? It was like, it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen.
But it will happen.
What was that? Was that Weller or was that, anyway, it was like,
I don't know. I for some reason, I think it is the old Weller woman commercial that used to be on TV, or was it something else? I don't know. Whatever it was, great brand strategy, because it's stuck in my head. It's been there forever.
It's been there forever.
Yeah, it's been there forever. So I'm going to have to Google it after we're done. So this morning, obviously, Karla, you are so super good at what you do. And just a little bit of an insight. I met Karla when we first started the SheShed, and Karla was one of the very first people to come and run. Was in my categories, it falls under a business upskilling category for me. It probably is something slightly different for you. But you came in and ran a workshop out of the SheShed, which was a sellout workshop on your end. It sold out very quickly.
There was two sellout workshops.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
There was in our space, and that was the first time I met you. And straight away, I connected with you. I was like, I like this chick. She's cool. She knows her stuff. Yeah. And I loved the fact that everything about you, two of my favorite words, transparency and honesty. And I saw both of those in you immediately. So and at that point, I was already configuring what I wanted the business glow up to look like. And straight away, I knew I needed to have Karla as part of that panel, because you do know your stuff. Now, a little bit behind you, I'm just going to give a tiny bit of a backstory, and you will need to correct me if I'm wrong, because I do tend to hold on to the bits of information that I want to hold on to, and sometimes I forget some other stuff.
That's okay.
So you may need to fill in the blank. So you have done this strategy for yourself a couple of times, thanks to the nasty bots and whatever else is out there that likes to come in and degrade our Instagram and Facebook accounts. And I've seen you do it well on both occasions. So your current page at the moment is doing incredibly well. Your content is extremely engaging and very captivating. So take us on a little bit of a journey, first and foremost, how you got to the point where you are now. And then maybe we can give some tips and tricks to the ladies that are here today watching, so that they can get excited about coming to the Business Glow Up and hearing a little bit more behind how you do what you do.
Okay. So, at the moment, we know that content is everything. If you want to be on social media, you have to create content. And I know that it overwhelms and confuses so many people, especially if they're coming from a one-on-one space or like a bricks and mortar space and not used to the online world. It's just like, there is so much. How do I do this? My background is branding, like brand development, helping businesses create platforms and launch pretty much. And so I do have an agency for that, but my passion is helping women step onto their stage of their business, discover their own unique brilliance, and to be able to transfer that into their content so that it does connect with their audience, so that it does captivate, and so that it comes from an internal place. It's just one of those things where I cannot ignore, like I have the strategy, we do the strategy, of course, but there is also that inner work, that sacred part of it, that when you really know yourself, when you really know your vision, when you really have that clarity about what it is that you're doing here, what your purpose is, what your legacy is going to be, then it actually flows out really easily. And once you do the strategy, it's like, it all clicks in. So my background is an evolution. It has been an evolution. And I used to find content really intense and hard to do. I've not always been confident. I grew up as an anxious child. I was too scared to go up to McDonald's when I was, the counter at McDonald's and ask for a burger when I was 12. I was just one of those like, no, don't look at me kind of thing. And just
no one
slowly,
would get that now, right? Amazing.
So like, how can you be so confident? I went, it is coming from a place of practice. I knew who I was inside and I knew what I wanted to do. And I think at one point the fear or the desire to be where you want to be, as opposed to the fear, like tips into that direction. And so you push yourself. And so you push yourself to do that. And so I remember my background is this, but I'm also a performer. And so I had 13 years as a singer musician as well, doing this, weekends, and then what I do during the week. And so this is why I actually have, like, social media is like my stage now, that I'm not actually singing, I'm dancing still, but it's one of those things where I have learned this craft of being able to captivate, to be able to connect. And the conversion, I suppose, when you're on stage is selling drinks and keeping people there and, doing that kind of thing and keeping them rolling for the rest of the... So it's the same thing when you're on social media. It's the same concept.
Just doing it in a different way, right?
Absolutely.
You're just creating that scroll stopping content. So
pretty much that's taking them on a journey.
Taking someone on a journey. Like, I could be scrolling Instagram and then I'll just see one of your videos and straight away I stop, because it is scroll stopping. Like you talk about that, like we are giving away a little PDF at the end of this where people can go in and do some little bits and pieces that you've given them. And one of those things it talks about in there is that scroll stopping content, and you do that oh so well. Like, really,
it's a craft that I've been honing for a while.
Me the craft.
Because I get really, really obsessed with something and I need to know how to do it. And so I have been honing that for the last few years. And look, it's really got to do with, so first of all, we have a recipe to put together. There's clarity. Brand clarity is absolutely needed if you want to have a successful content strategy, no matter what platform you're on. I choose Instagram and TikTok. If you want to choose LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever your audience is, wonderful. But it's brand clarity that is the basis of everything. And
your personal brand is included in that, right? Like, not, but that's
just what I'm saying is like
product. This is
I'm talking more as a service. But even like as a product, if you've got a product, it's probably easier to have brand clarity as a product sometimes, because it's like, this is the product, this is what it does, this is the transformation, this is who it's for. But sometimes as a service provider, coach, strategist and everything, sometimes we are so multidimensional, it's really hard to understand what that brand is and how to position that. So that's where I where I specialize. I help multi-passionate people do that. But it is that personal brand clarity of who you are, who you serve, what your transformation is, how you show up, the way that you show up, your niche. There's a way that you position yourself in the way that you have to, that you can stand out and not blend in and not sound the same and not. So that's number one, brand clarity. And then you've got so clarity, then you've got cohesion. So you need to be cohesive in your message and the way that you show up and what everything looks like and feels like, because people are very visual nowadays. Well, everyone's actually, not even nowadays. 96% of people respond to visual. So if something is dark or just messy or something like that, people usually will scroll straight past because it's not high quality. So it creates more trust with your audience. It's just a subconscious thing. So we have clarity, we have cohesion, we have consistency. So you need to keep showing up.
To all these
even if it's not perfect.
There's so many C words.
I love my C words. I know they just come to me.
And if I scroll up onto your Instagram, which I'm looking at the moment, there's confidence. There's just all of these C words everywhere. You are definitely a C word lady. The good C word.
Yeah, I should change my name to Karla with a C. Yeah. But I don't know, C word.
No, because Karla with a K stands out, and that's what we're talking about, right? You don't you don't want to just fall into the crowd. You want to stand out from the crowd because that's what people remember.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Exactly. And the way to do that is, so we've got clarity, cohesion, confidence. Yes. Confidence and courage are my two biggest things, because if you don't have confidence in yourself, in your message, if you don't trust yourself about what you're talking about, how you're saying it, then that energy will
absolutely
transfer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's passed on to the person watching it. Yeah,
it's so there. And then we've got consistency as well. So you have to consistently show up in order to create trust with your audience.
Kind of like what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks, Karla. We were talking about this earlier before we went live, right? Facebook has killed me 3 weeks in a row. I've tried to create these live videos, and for some reason, whatever reason, it's just not happened. And I've been receiving all of these emails just going, I'm so proud of you. You're so consistent. You keep trying, even though that Facebook, but you have to, because where the credibility comes in that, right? So when you're consistently showing up all the time.
That was my last one, credibility.
Oh, was it another C word? Another C word?
Another C word.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I'll leave you to talk about credibility.
But it is absolutely true. It creates credibility. The whole thing together creates credibility. Yeah. And there are so many aspects of a content strategy that you can create those feelings with, because pretty much what you want people to do is when they come to your account, you want them to feel something.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's what your brand is about. So content at the moment is your brand.
Yes.
It is your brand. Yes. Whether you like it or not, content is in the next few years is going to be the way that you have to be in and do well in order to position yourself as a business that is next level.
It's not about showing up on the first page of the yellow pages anymore, people.
No, it isn't. And SEO, I mean, there are so many businesses happening. If you're local, I know that you go into SEO, but I'm also that it's easier for local, but if you're going to serve global, it's social media. Yeah, that's right. So otherwise it's going to be very expensive to do SEO for global. So so this is the basis of creating your content. And so the content strategy comes from all of those pieces. And so when we work on a content strategy, it's all about, okay, how you want to position yourself. Who's your ideal audience? What's your niche? What type of content do they like to consume? What kind of content do you like to create? Where are they? Yes. Where are they? Like, there's no use you going on Instagram when all your people are on Facebook or something like that. But then again, if you don't like Facebook as much as I don't really like Facebook, you got to go where you feel good.
Your people are going to follow you where you are.
Instagram's pretty. Instagram is pretty up there anyway. Most people are on Instagram now.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it. And just following up on what you're saying there as well, I suppose with that you also need to take into consideration what the platforms are asking you for, because that's ever changing, right? As we know, it constantly, there's a new algorithm every other week.
Well, I've got something to talk about with that though. That's cool. Interesting. Yeah.
So with just as a quick pointer, I know that with Instagram in the last probably month or so, they've started saying that with Reels, they're performing a whole lot better. So I actually tested that myself, and I continued to put up my posts for my workshops as not Reels, as not videos, as no video content, because we do that. We always put up our workshops that way. And I did notice quite a big downfall in the turnover. So that was quite interesting. So then I thought, I'm not going to do a reel for every single workshop I put up, because obviously for us, that's a big job when we're running 3 businesses, etc., to do that for every business. So I just cheated it and just made it into a GIF and then put that up, and actually it started performing really well again. So, you know, there's those little things behind. Yes, we obviously have to have all of the stuff that we're talking about at the moment right now, getting that right, because that's first and foremost. But then down the track, I think we can allow ourselves to be so confused about what we think the algorithm's telling us, right? Like, we don't.
You can go crazy with it.
Yeah, I know.
You can go crazy with the algorithm. It's one of those things. Okay, so
and overwhelmed.
Okay, so this is the thing. Like, I've gone through this myself. I know I create really good content. But, you know, I've gone through a stage of growth where Instagram was just taking me, and I'm going viral, all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden I post something that's not quite niche.
Yes.
Okay, because I know how the algorithm works.
Yes.
It's not quite niche, but I really wanted to post it because it was something that I was feeling and I wanted people to know.
And you're passionate about.
And then a couple of things, and then the algorithm goes, well, that's not relevant. I'm going to stop showing that to more people. However, also in the last month, the algorithm has stopped outside accounts going onto explore pages because people were complaining about it, and so they've gone backwards, which is now limiting reach again. So it's one of those things where you can't drive yourself crazy with it.
Over it.
You have to have a very good brand strategy, a very good content strategy, and use social media as your dance floor, as the network space, and then bring them into your email list, bring them into your home.
I like that.
Bring them to your home.
Good. Yeah.
This is the thing. If you rely too much on social media is needed. It's going to be around for ages, and whatever platforms are going to come through. The same concept of building a personal brand is going to stay the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those things that you just have to learn how each platform works in order for that to work. You know what I'm saying? That's a tactic.
Just don't get overloaded with it, right? Because
just don't drive yourself crazy with it. Yeah, exactly. Because you can't. It's just like, why isn't this working? It's my lower performing reels are actually getting higher engagement. My following is still slowly going. My following is still increasing. My insights are, this is the thing. I think there's so many reels experts and content experts on Instagram saying, you can go viral, you can do this, you can reach 10K, you can do blah, 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 blah. And everyone's just expecting it now. And then wondering why
music now, you're going to be looking for it in 5 weeks. It's like, what?
I know. And it's one of those things where people are just like getting down on themselves now when it's not happening immediately. And it's like, no.
It's overwhelmed behind it. So, and I suppose the reason I brought that up, Karla, is to actually bring us back to why it's really important to do this task, right? And look, I suppose with some of the Business Glow Up members, we've got people that are really fresh to business, so brand new startups. We've actually got a few people who have been in business for a few years that have become stagnant in their business, or they need to take those next steps but don't know what they are. And we do a little bit of a deep dive into where are you stuck, why are you stuck, and one of the things that keeps coming up consistently that I see all the time is things around our brand strategy, whether it's our initial brand for our business, whether it's our personal brand around ourselves, or whether it is what that looks like as an envelope when you're putting everything inside. So we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, and there's so many inconsistencies for people. And I just want to bring them back to this point. Like, try not to leave it until you're a year down the track and then you go, why isn't this working? Implement it now. But if you are a year down the track or 2 years down the track, it's never too late. It's never too late to actually step back and go, okay, I really have to do something about this now. I do need to uplift my image on Instagram. I do need to come and start tying all these things together. So for you, what would your pointers be for somebody, A, who's fresh in business and starting out? Because we talk about your content pillars in the book that we're going to hand out to people, and they're going to be pretty important moving forward down the track. And secondly, pointers for someone who has been in business for a little while but really hasn't taken that step in their socials. And, you know, like I met a few people in the last few weeks who came and did the Women's Expo, and there was quite a few people in there that didn't even have an Instagram account. And I was like, where are you showing people your stuff? You know, like that.
Where can people go to find you?
Yeah, where do they go to find you? Oh, they can go to my website. And I went to the website and it was so clunky and I couldn't move through the website. So there are people that are still a little bit stuck because they've maybe been in business for a very long time and things used to work a certain way. But like you said earlier, things are changing, things are evolving, and we actually
so quickly
need to stay on the ball with that stuff,
yes,
right?
We do. And things are changing very quickly. And as a business owner who wants to be online, you either have to have a marketing team that's on it or you have to know it yourself. So the same thing is for people who are starting, for people who are need to evolve. It comes back to clarity always. What is the vision for your business? Where do you want to be in 1, 2, 3 years time? Where do you see your business? Because I always like to, this is how I work, top down, inside out.
Great.
How do you want to feel in your business? What do you see yourself creating? What do you see yourself doing that? And even though it's big, you then chunk it down. And so I know that everyone's like, how do I create good content? It's like, what do you want your content to do? What do you want your content to achieve?
You figure out the how.
Yes. So this is the thing. A content strategy is not a strategy if there is no objective or goal for your content.
Fantastic
If
advice.
you keep just chucking stuff out there, like, you know, like you've heard this analogy, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks, and it's not ever going to stick anymore, because that is not the way social media works anymore. You absolutely, like it used to, you could put, I remember having an Instagram account back in 2017, I could put crap up there and I'd be getting 1,000 likes. It's just not like that anymore.
No, people actually want to be engaged.
Yes, and people and quite
and they're over engaged, right? Because people are over engaged. If we look at the statistics of how they sit online for certain amounts of time, I mean, all of that kind of stuff, they're over engaged, which means you actually need to figure out how you get above that. And I think that sometimes is a little bit hard for people who don't even understand their why, right? Like if you, and this is going back again to that clarity, you got to understand your why. And I'm very similar to you. When I'm working with my clients, I work from the top down and inside out, and we work out our strategy backwards. That's, you know, even as an example, this morning, one of the girls that I work with the business glow up, she's like, I'm ready to hire another staff member. This is her 3rd staff member in 3 or 4 months. She's only been in business for less than a year. She's doing a fantastic job. And she said, oh, but I want X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, you need to hold up for a second. I need you to write down who your staff are at the moment, what their roles are, what days they work. I want you to write down what you are doing in the business, because she's going back to a full-time job, full-time shortly in January. So she's literally looking for someone to replace some of those tasks that she does. And I said, we just need to work backwards on this, because there's no point implementing another role for another person if it's going to overlap everything else that's already going on. But sometimes when you're in it, it is, it feels like a maze, and you're looking around and you can't figure out quite what you need to do. And it's really important for people to think about you just got to get that clarity. You got to get the clarity of where you're at, because if you don't have it, you're going to go back.
The analogy is, I want to go to Western Australia. I want to travel. It's like, well, where do you want to travel? What do you want to do? I don't know. I just want to get in the car and drive. I just want to have experiences. You know, this is the kind of thing. So you actually need to know where you're going in order to do that. So everyone goes, oh, I just want to know how to create really good content. Well, first thing is, what's your goal? What is the goal of your content? Is it brand awareness? Is it sales? Is it building community? Is it really making an impact in people's lives? What is it that you want to do? And then, and where you want to see your business. And then you have to ask yourself the questions of, who do I serve? What is the transformation that I offer, regardless whether you're a service provider or a product, because people do not buy things. They buy feelings, they buy emotions.
Absolutely.
So it's always the same thing. This is why I always have the emotive. Yeah, strategy is the same. So, you know, brands like Coke, brands like Nike, they don't sell their product. They sell a feeling.
That's right.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coke doesn't go,
buy
hey,
on
drink some
emotion.
sugary stuff and get a high. You know, it's just like, no, let's go and have a great summertime kind of, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, when we're thinking about it's always brand strategy, and then comes the content strategy, which is an extension of that. And it's always like knowing where you're going, and then absolutely knowing where your ideal, the people you want to work with, the people you want to call in. Yeah. That's where that meets. Yeah. So the brand strategy is you. Yeah. And kind of then knowing what you do and who you are, and how you serve and how you make people feel. But then that content strategy is like, okay, how are we going to connect with each other?
How do we show up? How do you show up, right? Like, so I know we're fast running out of time.
Can I just say one more thing about this?
Do. Yeah.
You need to create content that your audience, can I swear?
Go for it.
That your audience gives a shit about. It's not really about you. It's about your audience.
That's right. Yeah, it's not about us. That's exactly it. Totally
that's
agree.
One of the biggest mistakes I see is that people show up and like me. And it's just like, no, you're not going to stop a scroll. People, as you said, are overwhelmed and overstimulated. And that's why niching is so important. That's why knowing your audience is so important, because you actually, when you stop that scroll, that person's like, oh, she's in my head. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And so it's in that first 3 seconds. This is the difference now of social media a few years ago to now. It's first 3 seconds. Absolutely. The first impression straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Super agree with all of that. Hit the nail on the head. So we're running out of time. We've got 7 minutes left on the timer.
And then we get to nurture and create relationships and community with other content. So So for people who are watching on, who are confused on actually how to show up, I know there's a whole bunch of people already who I work with that are going to hate me for this. Talk to us about showing your face on Instagram, because a lot of people are like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I can't get on Instagram. I can't show my face. No one wants to know about me. They just want to know about my product. Talk to me about that. We've got 6 minutes. I don't know how many times I have told people, it's like, okay, if you're a product-based business, maybe don't show your face all the time. Not all the time. Like, it's important to show your product, but it's also important to show behind the scenes and who's making this product and who's actually the process and everything. People love that stuff. You don't have to sit there and do your selfies and dance and lip sync and you don't have to do any of that if you don't feel comfortable doing it. You just don't. I'm an extrovert. Like, if you follow me, you'll just see me doing all of that. But I love it. It's authentically me.
Yes, that is authentic.
But if you're not that, then there are other ways to show your face and show who you are and what you stand for and your values in order to connect with your audience. And so if it's just your product all the time, it becomes this faceless, like, it doesn't feel...
There's no emotion.
It doesn't feel holistic. Yeah. And so even if it's not on your feed, put it in your stories. People love reels of how to make things and how you pack and how you all the sped up time lapses and people love that stuff.
And the occasional personal piece, because people do want to know who you are, right? So exactly. And just a quick little story behind that. One of the ladies that we work with, she is incredible. She now runs some community sewing groups at SheShed. She has quite a decent little following on Instagram, and she constantly shows all of her product because she is a product-based business. She makes children's clothing, beautiful children's clothing. She did this one reel where she I think it was last Easter, and she was showing her a video of her kids making, I think it might have been hot cross buns or something like that. That video went stupid viral. And she's like, I don't understand how none of my other videos are following suit. And I said, it's because you actually stepped out of what was your normal. You're always showing the clothes. You're always showing behind the scenes on making the clothes. And all of a sudden you threw something out there that people weren't expecting, and they actually
connected and related.
And that's right. It was relatable content. It was like, oh, I've got kids. Oh, you know what I mean. So, and that's important, right? So to actually have a little bit of the personal journey, you don't have to go and show yourself at your house and where you live and your address and all of this kind of stuff, but just that real content of who you are as a person in relation to your business.
Yeah, and I think I was doing the Sister Mind sessions last year. It's like what your brand is. You have this sacred kind of like, it's like a cell, and you choose what you want to put in there, but making sure that there is some relatability within that. You know, something where you actually connecting on a true, authentic level with your audience.
Yeah.
Everything outside of that, like, you don't have to show, if you don't want to, if you're so against showing your children, put that out there. If you don't want to show your relationship, put that out there. Yeah. My husband's incredibly private. He doesn't even hardly, like, I think there's once a year he's on my Instagram.
Unless you go away on holiday.
Yeah, but even then I'm cropping him out. And he's like, don't put me on there, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So even my Greece holiday was all just me and the kids, you know.
And food.
Yeah, and food. But everything within that cell, though, that is your brand, and that's where you are fully expressed. And you're fully expressed within that.
I love that.
That's the way I do it. So if you choose what you want to put in your brand.
Yeah, great. Any last minute pointers from you? Sorry, I just cut you off there.
3 minutes. That's a really good thing to actually finish on. So I was thinking relatability for reach, nurturing, connecting on that really beautiful, relatable, emotional level. We've got content strategy. So I know that in the content pillars, we're doing the connecting, the captivating, which is, you know, pulling in, the connecting, which is the relatability, and the converting, which is coming into like, because this is the part we haven't talked about. Yes. It comes from all of that. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It actually, people will make a decision whether they really like you and trust, and you know, once they know you and like you, they'll then make a decision after following you for a while that they trust you. And so the conversion doesn't come from a single sales piece. Here, buy my shit.
Absolutely. It doesn't.
That's not where the conversion comes from. It comes from then showing your credibility.
Yeah, that long-term relationship.
You know, even if you have testimonials and things, they don't actually perform the best. But if people are looking at you and wanting to work with you or wanting to buy from you, they will be taking up those pieces, those credibility pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're not the highest performing, but that doesn't matter.
No, so that's great.
Yeah,
I love that too. Yeah, that's so good.
So once you start bringing in the credibility, it all kind of like then works together in synergy.
Yeah, I love it. I love talking to you. I could talk to you for hours. I mean, these conversations, they could just keep going on and on and on, and they just keep sprawling, and I love that. So again, I just want to encourage everyone to jump on and follow and like your page, because between now and February, when we hear from you again, for those that are coming along to the one-day workshop for the Business Glow Up, Karla is going to be there, and she's got some amazing content she's going to share with us. And you'll also get the opportunity after that, if you wanted to, which I know a lot of you will, you'll be able to go and do some additional work with her after the workshop as well. So don't hold back. If you've got questions after this, please feel free to drop them below in the box, and Karla will be keeping her eyes peeled.
I will be. And I want to do more. I want to do more of these workshops at SheShed next year. So
I can't wait. I love the ones that
I've got Reels workshops I want to do.
Bring it.
Like transition ones, like really fun stuff, you know. It's
all relatable to, especially for where we are at the moment, the way social media is moving. So thank you, Karla. Loved having you. And I
loved being here.
See you in person in February. All right, we'll chat again soon. Thanks heaps.
Okay, thanks.
All right, see you. Bye.